Good morning, everyone. Pastor Ralph here for another coffee moment with Pastor, and it's great to be with you this morning. Yesterday was another banner day as we shared God's Word with one another. Thank you so much for logging into Church Online and Facebook and YouTube. We had many comments of how God blessed people through that telecast. I want you to know many people have asked, and yes, we are working on incorporating worship and music somehow in our broadcasts, so that will add some new dimension. Also, I want to let you know that this coming Sunday is Communion Sunday, and we're going to be encouraging you along with your family or maybe someone in your condo to join with us for communion. We're going to do it online, and we'll be sending out email blasts this week explaining exactly how we are going to do that. So this morning, I just want to draw our attention. We are getting closer and closer to Holy Week, that week that leads up to Good Friday and ultimately to Easter Sunday. But I also want to keep in mind the day in which we're living and many of the questions that people are asking today. And I want to begin our readings this week with the simple question, why? Why does God allow these things to happen? Many people were coming into Jerusalem getting ready for the Passover festival, and Jesus was among them. He was on his way, and someone asked him, one of his disciples pointed to a young man who had been blind since birth. And in those days, the concept was that if you had been born blind, if you had been born with any malady, it was indicative of God's judgment on the individual or on the family for some generational sin that had occurred somewhere down the DNA line. And the only one then that could forgive, that could heal, would be God himself. And so keep that in mind as I read from John chapter 9. As Jesus went along, he saw a man blind from birth. We don't know this man's name. We don't know where he was from. We assume he was living in Jerusalem with his family. Then his disciples asked him, Rabbi, who sinned, this man or his parents, that he was born blind? We could paraphrase that and say, why, Lord? Why him? He didn't do anything wrong. Why is he sick? Why is so-and-so have COVID-19? They didn't do anything wrong. Why are two pastor mentors of mine in the hospital in critical condition? They didn't do anything wrong. Why, Lord? Listen to Jesus' answer. Neither this man nor his parents sinned, since Jesus, but this happened so that the works of God might be displayed in him. How is that possible? God is still going to work even though this man is blind? I think what Jesus is just telling his disciples and us, it's not the end of the story. This is only a moment in time, but God has something else in store. There's something else that God is up to. As long as it is day, we must do the works of him who sent me. Night is coming when no one can work. While I am in the world, I am the light of the world. After saying this, he spit on the ground, made some mud with his saliva, and put it on the man's eyes. Go, he told him, wash in the pool of Siloam. This word also means sent. So the man went and washed and came home seeing. His neighbors and those who had formerly seen him begging asked, Isn't this the same man who used to sit and beg? Some claimed that he was. Others said, No, he only looks like him. But he himself insisted, I am the man. How then were your eyes opened? They said. He replied, The man they call Jesus made some mud, put it on my eyes. He told me to go to Siloam and wash. So I went and washed, and then I could see. Couple points that I see from this wonderful story. Number one, never ask the question why. I'm not saying it's wrong to. I'm saying you're not going to find all your answers in that question. See, the question why presumes that someone is guilty. The question why assumes that there is an easy answer. The fact of the matter is, in life, there are no easy answers, are there? Rather than in this story asking why, Jesus asks who and how. First of all, the how was Jesus took some mud, spit on it, and he rubbed the man's eyes, and he told him to go and wash in the pool of Siloam. I have an immediate picture in my mind going back in the Old Testament to Genesis, when God took of the earth and he molded it and he shaped man. And here's the great I am, Jesus, the Son of God, reflecting on that, I believe, and in a symbolic gesture wanting the people to know, this isn't just man's doing. This isn't man's doing. This isn't anyone's doing, but God is in control. And in the midst of this man's pain and questions, God was working, and God is working. God is working in your life. The question is, will you obey him? Will you listen to him? I don't know what would have happened to the man if he had said to Jesus, go to the pool? Why? Here's the thought that just occurs to me. He could already see. But he had to obey. He had to obey. And he went forward, and he washed, and he came out cleansed. And folk, the same for you and I. That when we obey Jesus and we allow him into our lives, he cleanses us, he heals us. And many times we'll not get the answer as to why these things are happening. But we can always be assured that Jesus is in control. He's leading, he's guiding, he's working. Let him work in you today, my friends. God bless, and have a wonderful, wonderful